Hey there, and welcome. I'm Anna Hartman, and this is Unreal Results, a podcast where I help you get better outcomes and gain the confidence that you can help anyone, even the most complex cases. Join me as I teach about the influence of the visceral organs and the nervous system on movement, pain, and injuries, all while shifting the paradigm of what whole body assessment and treatment really looks like. I'm glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Unreal Results podcast. I just got done working out, and as I was walking back to my car, I was just thinking about how I've been feeling this week, or the last few weeks actually. And it made me laugh because so often I call my sister and I say, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to Hawaii tomorrow." And she always laughs because she's like, "You are wild that you would just book a flight to Hawaii immediately and go." And that's one, I love being like that. I'm not a big planner. I like to just take things day by day. And it's the beauty of being single and financially independent and owning your own business is if I decide I want to go to Hawaii tomorrow, I can go to Hawaii tomorrow. But I was thinking about why I feel that way and what makes me want to go to Hawaii. Part of it is I have FOMO because it's humpback breeding season in Maui. I love whale watching. My whale watching friends are already there. They've been there for 2 weeks, and seeing all their videos and things just has me feeling some sort of way like I'm missing out. But then also, what it is I start looking up flights like that. It's almost like I am fantasizing about having nothing to do, and not just having nothing to do, but permission to do nothing and to be on vacation. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like when I'm in Hawaii, it's permission just to go lay by the ocean and read a book or go swimming or, explore different things and just do stuff I enjoy. And it made me sort of laugh because looking back on the moments that I tend to start searching for flights is when I'm tired, when I am tired from all the travel to my clients, which is ironic that then I feel like I want to travel somewhere. You would think I'm just sick of being on the plane, which happens, but it's just, again, it represents a timeout and a decompression. And there's something about the island besides the feeling of not having to, work that just is very refilling for me. However, I was thinking about it and I laughed because when I moved to San Diego, how many years ago was it now? Perhaps a little over 6 years ago, at the end of 2016, I moved to San Diego. Part of the reason I did that is because when I wasn't traveling, I just found that I would rather be somewhere else than Arizona. And, I wanted to be by the beach. I wanted to be back in California. I just wanted to feel that regeneration, that recovery, that rest that being by the ocean gives to me. But then also, I think too, that looking back on it now, I realize part of the reason was I was really tired. If you think I travel a lot now, you should have heard what my schedule was back then. being tired is relative, right? Like your body, your nervous system is just wired to just keep going. And so sometimes when you're tired, especially if you've been tired for a really long time, it's hard to recognize that you're tired. There's two feelings in my body I have a really hard time recognizing. That's being tired and being hungry. And that lack of interoception, that lack of like body awareness is sort of like what sometimes gets me in trouble. But the reason I have a hard time being like recognizing when I'm tired is because I've just my whole life just been going, and like doing as much as possible and like taking care of everybody else before I take care of myself, which is one of the big adjustments I made after losing my mom, right? And so it is constantly a journey, though. It is constantly something that I easily let go of. And I especially like I am a relator. I love building relationships with my clients to feel like family. And when your clients feel like family, you start making sacrifices for them that maybe you shouldn't be because it feels good, because it speaks to that relationship piece, right? But at the same time, it just makes me easily go back into that mode of putting others first besides me. So I don't even recognize that I'm tired half the time. This year has been really interesting because it's the first football season I haven't traveled every week since I don't even know when. I honestly don't know the last year that I haven't had a client every week of football season traveling somewhere, specifically to the East Coast, and even more than one, right? So previous in the last couple years, I've been traveling 4 to 5 times a week during football season and only being home like basically 2 days a week. So this season was the first time that I recognized like how much energy I had and really appreciated how tired I was in the past. I do know in the past at the end of football season, it was like, this is the time I like got to catch up on my sleep and took vacation and doing all the things. So I think I am feeling that pattern right now as football season's ending. I'm recording this the Wednesday before the Super Bowl. And, but also, like I said, I was just so used to this, it becomes your new level of normal. And so I just didn't even recognize it. And I will say in the last couple of years of travel, I did better at taking care of myself, better at keeping up with lymph massage, better at keeping up with working out, going on walks, really good at keeping boundaries for when I was home, not scheduling a ton of clients when I was home, like actually taking those 2 days off and not doing anything. But this past Christmas, it like blew my mind because I can't remember having that much energy at Christmas to hang out with my family and like really be present in many, many years. So in one sense, it feels odd to me that I'm still feeling like the pull to Hawaii to do nothing. But that is because I've been working really hard on my business, right? I've been creating a lot of content. The podcasts are great. I'm loving them, but as everyone told me, it takes way longer to edit them than I would really probably like. And eventually I'll hire somebody to do it for me. But, for right now, the beginning, you're in the weeds, you're figuring it all out. You're doing all the things. I'm doing more YouTube videos. I'm just trying to put more content out there on social media, doing more emails. I'm in a growth phase, right? I'm trying to get more people into my sphere. And so even though I am not traveling, I've been working a lot. And then I also it's important to realize like the way my brain works, just this creativity, this content creation, the constant thinking and the constant being creative is tiring. And because it's not travel and because it's not physically demanding, like seeing patients all day, I sometimes forget I need breaks from it. Plus, I love it. Like, I love what I do. And so it's really easy when I'm at home to just be working every day, all day long. So I have to consciously think, like, or consciously like carve out time to take care of myself, consciously like stop working. And because my schedule has been more sporadic with travel, it's just been harder to have like a strict thing, that's the way it goes. Like when you get busier, it's easier to like keep on stuff. So anyways, this was not the podcast I was like thinking I would be doing, but I was just like having this thought after I worked out of the gym, and I was like, I need to share this because this is something that everybody falls into this trap, especially all of us who are athletic trainers, physical therapists, chiropractors, people who are taking care of other people. We easily get in this trap, putting others first, not taking care of ourselves, not taking time off, not appreciating how much effort goes into patient care, how much energy it takes to be creative, that kind of thing. The other thing too is like, you can't disregard like the need to work to create money, right? To create income. This is why I do all the social media stuff. It's why I do all the content creation. Besides I enjoy it. It's a way to create a revenue stream that doesn't rely on the athletes, because what I've found in the past, though they love me and care about me and want to support me, I can't count on their income because things come up in their lives. And sometimes, even though they're planning to use me every week forever, they don't. And sometimes they get hurt and they have to do rehab with the team. Sometimes they just get burnt out on doing rehab. Sometimes they have kids or get in relationships and have family obligations that limits their time that they can take care of themselves, just like regular humans, right? And so I've learned that in order to keep me happy working with those clients who I love, and I love doing that, I had to have another stream of income to support myself, because relying on them was not steady, as well as it was emotionally draining, because you get so connected with somebody, you feel like your family, and then all of a sudden they're sort of out of your life again. And it doesn't mean that they don't love me and appreciate me and still think of me as family, but it's sort of like, for me, all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, my best friend, my brother, and not here for me anymore. So it's an interesting thing. And so I've realized that for me to not resent them, and not be resentful of my job, if this makes sense, is I need to rely upon myself to make money, regardless of the income I get from them. That is always sort of like icing on the cake. That income allows me to take more continuing education classes. It allows me to be a little bit more flexible about working with some athletes who can't afford my services, sort of more doing more pro bono stuff, and having the time to create all this content to share with people, to then sell my education. And that's something too with the education. I don't do it just to make money. I love doing it. What I love to do, it's actually funny because I didn't realize I had this as a strength until a colleague pointed it out years ago. A physical therapist that I worked with at Exos, when I onboarded her, after a while, she was like, man, I'm just so amazed at how easily you assimilate information. And she's like, you make, concepts that are sometimes a little bit in the weeds feel really clear and practical and easy to apply. And That is really what I love. And I shared this on my Instagram the other day. I was sharing about this class I took in October, advanced visceral manipulation of the neck and thorax, and I learned some new techniques and they were so great. But then, since that class in October, my mind's been sort of thinking, and I've been tinkering around with different things to be able to teach you all those techniques without having to rely on a practitioner. It doesn't substitute them, right? It's not an equal 1-for-1, right? It's not like it's going to replace the technique and replace the need to go see someone with skilled hands and can do visceral manipulation, but it makes it more accessible for clinicians to learn and understand the influence of the viscera and the nervous system on the musculoskeletal system. And then it empowers the patient and empowers the clinician to be able to treat it without always having to rely on a trained visceral manipulation or neural manipulation practitioner. And so that ability, that ability I have to take information and create and innovate it, like be innovative and create something new to get at the same goal, like leaning into that in these last few years, as I've been teaching more of the MovementREV method, is actually, like, I realize, like, my superpower. And so I gotta make time for that, and realize too, like, it takes a lot of energy, which is hard because that means I'm saying no to a lot of in-person clients. And that also means that I need to do a better job creating boundaries around those days too, and give myself the time off. Because let's be honest, do I need to jump on a plane and go to Hawaii tomorrow? No. Do I want to? Yes. But why do I want to? Because I just need a break. And I want nice weather and be by the ocean, but I live in San Diego and it's like 80 degrees today, and the ocean, I can see it from my window. So I just need to be better about pushing myself away from the computer, pushing myself away from the notebook, and then even also pushing myself away from the constant, like, thinking about things, which is the hardest part. So anyways, hopefully, part of actually what probably got me thinking about this too, besides me wanting to be in Hawaii today, I am going to Hawaii next week for whale watching, so don't worry, I'm still getting that vacation in with the whales and my whale friends. But part of what made me probably, like, be thinking about this a little bit deeper is just last night on our Mafia call. So I'm in the Maestro Mafia. So Shantae Cofield, the movement maestro, she has a membership program called the Mafia, and it's a group of entrepreneurs, professionals in health and wellness, and we come together twice a month. And last night we had a guest speaker, Allegra Stein, and she talked to us about the Clifton Strengths profile. So we, did our assessment, figure out our strengths, and this is not new information to me. Like, the strengths that came up, I'm like, yep, I could have told you that, which is good because that means, like, I have a bit of self-aware. But reading the little blurbs that came up based on my questions, it really hammered home some of these concepts for me, and just, again, like, highlighted, like, the reason why I am how I am and I work how I work, and sort of allowed me that realization today of, like, I see why I'm browsing flights to Hawaii today. Besides FOMO, it's because I'm tired and I need a break. And yeah, that was highlighted in my top things, which, for those of you know, my top 5 is strategic, adaptability, empathy, relator, and ideation. I'll just share, actually, I will share a couple of the sentences in each thing that was things. So the strategic, that's all about, like, being creative, and like assimilating information and being innovative, that kind of thing. So when it is basically talking about my talents and this is my expertise, often serves as a springboard for your own and others' imaginations. So that is very accurate. And then adaptability. So that's my like go with the flow, like literally being okay with jumping on a plane to Hawaii tomorrow or not. Right. So taking things as they come. But it also is like by nature, you might dread being bound to the timelines or agendas of others. That is so true. So a lot of sometimes why I sit down and do some of the work that is not creative, but needs to be done for my business is because I am like have timelines and agendas that need to be done from a business standpoint. And that can be really draining on me. It says you continually monitor and adjust based on what's going on in the day. And I think over these last few years, as I become more aware of my habits, I do a better job of being like, perhaps I am seeing signs that I'm tired and I should go to sleep earlier, or I should stop working, or I should take a day off, or I should catch a flight to Hawaii. The next one, empathy. Obviously, most of us know what empathy is, but, in terms of how it relates sort of to this is like trusting my feelings leading to a proper solution. So, trusting my feelings, like trusting the feeling of like, I do want to get on a plane to Hawaii and like unplug. And that is not me 100% having FOMO. That's me recognizing like, I think I'm tired. And yeah, the next one, relator. I have deep satisfaction working hard with friends to achieve their goals or a goal. Reading and learning helps me add fresh ideas to my mind storehouse of information. And I'm very thoughtful with like gathering information before I provide my opinions, that kind of thing. And then lastly, the ideation, that is, being inventive, innovative. I grow bored when I'm, this was funny. You grow bored when forced to follow the same series of steps day after day. So this is really funny because I am so much like this that like, even when I'm driving around town, if I go somewhere, I like to return to my house in a different way because I think it's boring to go the same same streets you did on the way there. This is like how much of the ideation is like very me. Yeah, it says by nature, you usually find novel and fresh ways to doing things. So the other thing about that, how it relates to the education is when I decided to do the mentorship and when I decided to like write out my evaluation process and create the LTAP, so the locator test assessment protocol, I was very resistant to it because I was very like, I don't do things the same way every time. I don't. I'm like, do I really do like, and my friends in business, they're like, come on, Anna, you gotta have a system of how you evaluate and treat, like whether you realize it or not, you're using a system, like just write it down. And what I didn't like about that is I didn't like feeling like a system had to sort of like lock you in a box and lock you into like a logical step-by-step approach to how to do things, because I think that's where people go wrong. And however, I feel like the LTAP and the way I use it still allows for me to have a system, but to use that system to listen to the body and be creative and not have to always do the same thing on everybody. So it really allows creativity and innovation and like not being bored within a structure. So yeah. Anyways, that's sort of where some of this thinking in my head came from, was our call last night on our strengths and just doing a better job of reflecting on, like, again, I'm a thinker, so it's like reflecting on like why I'm feeling a certain way And also appreciating that over the years I have, in the last 10 years, I've really been working actually very hard on becoming more of a feeler and paying attention to what I feel. And the fact that I know I can't feel being hungry very well, and I can't feel being tired very well, but I also am paying attention enough to catch the signs that I do when I am feeling those things is a huge accomplishment. So, wrap it up. Coming at you with this impromptu podcast right after a workout, all red-faced, got my Starbucks iced tea, and just letting you know that it is a little bit ironic that I was like, I need to take a break and stop working. And then I sat down and recorded a podcast because that's still working. But after this, I'm going to shut off the podcast. I'm not going to edit it today. I'm going to eat some food because though I don't feel hungry, I need to eat. And then I'm going to go to the beach and I'm going to go into the water and freeze so I can appreciate next week when I'm in Hawaii how much warmer the water is. And yeah, I'm going to stop working and maybe even change my plans for tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. So I hope this was helpful for you. In order to notice what we need to spend some time getting to know how we operate, which is like something like the Clifton Strengths or like the DISC assessment, an Enneagram, whatever assessment you want to use is great. It just is a way to get to know yourself so you can understand your tendencies and figure out your little patterns. And then also, doing the work to feel more in your body is going to help you actually feel your feelings too. Feeling from an interoception standpoint encompasses physiological feeling things, right? Mechanical changes in the pressures in our gut and our cavities, as well as chemical responses, but it also has a lot to do with recognizing our feelings and recognizing these little messages from our brain, which sometimes we've spent so long suppressing, like appetite and being tired, that it's hard to recognize them. So you have to do the work to figure out what your patterns are around those. So that's my lesson for you. Our work is hard. Take care of yourself first. Get to know yourself. Do some work learning how to feel in your body, physically and emotionally. Pay attention to how all of those feelings, you act on them, how you act on all those feelings. So then you can recognize when they're happening and make an adjustment. That's it for today. Thank you for being here. See you on the flip side.